Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening once again. We welcome to the finals and most interesting session of today's meeting. Friends, with the completion of the humorous speech and evaluation contests, the contests that are coming up on the international and table topic contest, we have quite a number of new Toastmasters, and for those those experienced Toastmasters can very well agree with me that international speech contest is something that needs thorough and focused preparation. Right? Did you make it? Now, who else can be able to throw some light and enlighten us with the nuances of the international speech contest but the chosen and the most sought after workshop presenters in the Toastmasters fraternity? He is not tall physically, but he is one of the tallest leaders of District 79, a fabulous speaker, a leader par excellence who has a Midas touch in every endeavor that he takes up. One of the secrets to his immense success is his passion and the alacrity with which he does everything that he takes up. He has served as the club president, director, division director, conference chairman, division and district advisor, and the list is endless. An avid reader, an astute leader, a fabulous singer, and above all, my friend for all seasons. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster, Peri.
Distinguished Toastmaster of the day, and my very good friend, Toastmaster Suresh, presiding officer, and wonderful members, and in the workshop presenters terminology, many gods seated here. I'm talking about the guests. Arun Wasson called the guests as gods. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's thank you, Suresh, for this elevating introduction. I mean, our friendship goes beyond many years, so many decades. It's wonderful. It's always, we keep learning from each other, and that's what we do in Toastmasters. I'm especially coming to Arabian Toastmasters. It's always an honor to be speaking in Arabian Toastmasters. I'm not just saying this to keep you happy, but Arabian Toastmasters is a champion club, a quality club, a club that can boast of consistently sending your speakers to the district finalist level. I think you deserve it. It's not easy to do that. You have been doing it consistently, and that reflects the kind of leadership, support, engagement, encouragement that goes behind every year. And more than all these things, what I love is the active engagement that you can manage with all the members of Arabian Toastmasters. Any club that is going to promote active engagement of almost all its members. We just heard moments of truth. There are challenges in any clubs. But if you can manage active engagement of most of your members, not just the star members of the club, then your club is bound to produce quality speakers, quality leaders. I mean, you don't even have to produce quality speakers and leaders. If you are going to be actively engaging with your members and giving them quality, then the club will produce quality speakers and leaders. Wonderful. And it's an honor to be speaking in such a club. And today, let me a little bit caution you. I'm not going to, this is the workshop is titled, Toastmaster Amal approached me first, and the workshop is titled as how to prepare and present an international speech. But I am not going to present the nitty-gritties and the details of how you do your introduction, body, conclusion, number of words, style, right? I mean, opening should be attention grabbing, the conclusion should be effective. No, I'm not going to be talking about all those things because you are a champion club. You are a quality club, I think, and I think we have to manage the time as well. So what I'm going to be focusing is on a macro level. Let's look at it. How do you condition yourself? It's contest season, as Toastmaster said. How do you condition yourself into a passionate and impactful IS speaker when you move from the club level to the area level to the division level and the district level? How do you condition your mindset, number one? Number two, what kind of a mindset you need to have to progress your speech as an impactful speaker when you move from this level to the district level. We all know how to speak. I think almost 90% of the audience members here know how to speak, how to present your speech projects. So it is It's more than that. How we need to get involved and develop and work on your speech to make the speeches an impactful speech. That's what we're going to look at. And thirdly, in that progression, in the journey from the club level to the district finance level, okay, what are those little changes that you need to bring in your speech every stage, every day? But those little changes should have a solid impact on the audience members. That is the trick of converting a normal speech into an impactful, great speech, which the seasoned speakers like Suresh and Ajay have done it. So we have all been there at the district finance level. Okay, I think I have been there with people here. Vijay was there last year. Any of them, man. It takes a lot of efforts. What is the difference between speakers of that category and speakers who aspire to be in that category? I think we are going to be talking about that today. That will be useful for you. But we all have. I'm staring at some of you. Just to keep you awake. I know it's not easy to listen to a workshop after 8:30, even though they serve hot and sour soup, which is very hot for me. So I don't take it. But I'm a speaker, so I'm already nervous. I don't need more hot and sour soup. But you don't need it. But coming back to the problems, I mean, all of us, most of us as Toastmasters have a problem. When we join Toastmasters, like our VP Education was saying today, when we join Toastmasters, we aspire to know what we don't know, right? And we join. Many of us, like moment of truth. Some of us stay in the club. Some of us leave. But those who stay in the club, we enjoy our moments here. The camaraderie, the friendship, the positive encouragement. We might come and deliver a terrible speech, but somebody says it's wonderful. So we like it. We feel great. And then we like being among those like-minded people. We start enjoying coming to the club. We have fun. Okay, we do a lot of creative things. But during that process, something not very nice happens. We start thinking we know everything. Okay, sometimes. Not all of us, some of us, many of us, many of us think we know everything. We know everything about us, how to go and deliver a speech. That gets into a habit. That becomes a habit. And that habit is we do not know what we do not know. We don't know what we don't know. That is a serious problem. I mean, we talked about, somebody talked about knowledge is power and continuous learning. A leader or a speaker has to be a continuous learner. Somewhere it stops. But if you really go into the original objective of being a Toastmaster, of becoming a Toastmaster, we wanted to know what we don't know, right? So, but we become Toastmasters, advanced Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and deadly Toastmasters. Many deadly Toastmasters. Have you seen that? Yeah. They know everything. I'm just trying to connect with you. They know everything. There's nothing that they don't know. Okay? But Toastmasters is a journey. Likewise, becoming a seasoned, impactful international speaker is a journey which you need to work on every day. If you have to be an effective international speech presenter, not only in the contest season, you need to think of your speech themes, speech concepts, even when the contest season is off. Okay? So now, talking about the need to know what we need to know, okay? It's always a good thing to start with basics. Whatever be, whether you are a Toastmaster, whether you are a working professional, whether you are a school teacher, it is always good to get in touch with some of the fundamentals of our game so that we stay strong. I don't want to mention names. Some of the seasoned speakers here, I am very sure that they read a lot, they work on their speeches a lot, they look at their videos a lot, and that is how they remain so sharp. It's like Roger Federer practicing his tennis game every day. If you have to be a very impactful international speaker, you have got to learn every day and practice it yourself every day. So number one, I'm going to ask a basic question. What is an international speech? Very quick answer, sir. There are no right and wrong. Some thoughts. I'm trying to trigger your thoughts so that you're all awake.
Speech on a common topic.
Good. It has to be common topic.
That's an appeal for an international audience.
Very good, very good, very good. Very good. We are getting, I know I'll get the answer. Everything is very much there. One more answer and then I will jump. This is my own compilation. There is nothing, it's not taken out of technical books. It's taken out of my own experience of reaching district finals.
It's usually an inspirational speech.
It's an inspirational speech value. So let's look at it. It has got to be a speech that appeals to an international audience, okay, and that is something which they can relate to, what you're talking about, we're talking about, so they should be able to relate to it easily. And thirdly, it should leave them with a different, strong speech value, the inspiration part, which should linger in the audience mind for a long, long time to come. Very, very important. Now, this may be a lot of words, but let's quickly, I think most of what you said is here. It should be a speech that should appeal to an international audience, everyone. Now, we cannot take a topic about, let's say, Kathakali dance in Kerala, something very minutest nuances of, or something about the Carnatic music, or something about snorkeling and deep sea diving and talk that. We cannot take all those jargons to a common audience within that. How many seconds is a speech? International speech?
5 to 7
Seconds. I asked her for seconds. Every second matters to the international speech. There is 450 seconds, including the grace time. Without the grace time, 420 seconds. You've got to convey everything that you need to convey very clearly, very interestingly, very impactfully within the 450 seconds. So don't go for vague content. It should be something that should be easily relatable for an international audience. And it should leave, and we will go to the other part later, but it should leave a strong and different speech value that should linger in your mind for a very, very long time. That's what will remember linger in your mind. Some people forget the speech, power of words, speech value. It's never too late to pursue your dreams. This speech value has a connection to what we are going to be discussing today. Suresh said, great minds. I told Suresh, your Toastmaster of the day, you got this theme of the day. He said, this is going to be in my workshop. He said, great minds think alike. I think sometimes great mind and a little mind can also think alike. It is going to come in the speech. By the way, I don't want to open up this aspect. So, but the speech value you will never forget. Okay, and that needs to be something the audience should feel it's worth remembering. That is also a technique that you need to carefully. If you look at very seasoned speakers, they go for a speech value, very, very different, very unique, very peculiar speech value, but they deliver it differently. That's how it stays in your mind. Okay. So that is international speech, and it is not just. Once again to say, it is not just a 5 to 7 minute speaking on the stage. It has to be a performance. A speech, an impactful international speech has to be a performance. It's not just reciting and memorizing and reciting the speech. Only some of us, sometimes we are so stuck with our speech. We want to deliver each and every once we start thinking our speech. The audiences or the judges can know that we are thinking our speech. We should feel our speech and let the audience members feel our speech. That's very important. Again, I'm talking about only practical things. I'm not talking about introduction, body, and conclusion. You are all speakers. Always, whenever you're developing a speech with your mentor, and if you're going to present, think about these things. You need to feel. You need to let the audience members feel. Then your speech will connect. You may not win, but they will remember your speech. Okay? Now, one more question in order to keep you all awake. How do you make a normal speech into a great speech? What, in your opinion, makes normal speech into a great speech? Or who is a great speaker?
Practice.
So go deep and get into emotions.
Yes. Okay, good. All these things are elements. Connect with them emotionally, practice.
There should be take home message.
There should be a speech value, take away with the message. But if you have to now, again, remember, I'm going to share with you something so that you can remember this and you will go for it when you're going to present your speech. A great speaker will let the audience member experience his or her experience the way they experienced, the speaker experienced. A great speaker, let me repeat, will let the audience member experience the speaker experienced. Hopefully it should be a good experience, not a horrible experience. Make sure it's not a boring experience, it's not a horrible experience, but even out of a horrible experience, you can bring out a great speech value. Okay, some of the speakers come and deliver something, somebody died. It's a horrible experience, but they deliver a wonderful speech value. Okay, and but where we fail, let's talk about, sometimes we have a wonderful speech craft. Somebody, Dr. George or DTM Suresh will come and give you a wonderful speech craft, free of charge. But we go and speak, we are obsessed, and then our speech bombs. When we see our name is not there, or even audience members don't remember it. Because probably we went wrong in making the audience members experience the exact speechcraft content. So everything matters. The way you look at your audience members, the way, how your face connects with your audience members. What is the friendliness in your face? Where you need to smile, where you need to stare, where you need to stare. All these things, I'm not going into those details, but you need to, that is the trick of delivering a very good and very impactful international speech. Feel your speech and let the audience members feel your speech. And for which it has to be a performance. Now, what is the biggest challenge in delivering a high performance speech where the audience should experience your experience? There are a lot of the biggest challenge, connectivity with the audience like you who are sitting quiet. The biggest challenge for a speaker is the audience. How do you keep them, hooked on to you continuously for the 5 to 7 minutes is a lot of time. One side I said 450 seconds is a short mile, but 450 seconds is a lot of time. The point of disconnect is the biggest challenge with audience members. Many of them will be physically sitting here, looking at you, smiling at you, which some of you are doing, but mentally you may be away, right? Virtually or somewhere else. This is a big challenge. Even if you are the world's best speaker, statistically it is proven, even if the world champion speaker, maybe 75 to 80% of the audience members will only be tuned with you. And that 75 to 80%, whether they are going to be tuned with you for the entire 450 seconds, no. So you need to keep on those things. I know, as I'm looking at you, without even looking at some faces, I can say you are somewhere else. I'm not giving you any threatening message. I want to be very frank. So you don't have to act like you are connecting with me. But it happens. It has happened to me. Okay? But the problem is the average human minds. You know how many thoughts cross our mind in 1 hour? 1 hour is too much.
3 to 4 times what the rate at which we speak.
Yeah, it is actually 2,500 to 3,500 thoughts crosses an average human mind in 1 hour. So in a minute, it's about 50 to 60 thoughts. So in a second, it is just less than a thought, maybe 75% of a thought. So it keeps, you need to disconnect them from those thoughts and make them connect with you. And the more of them you have with you, more of the time you have them with you, greater will be your reach and very successful will be your speech. And that is not possible if you do not let them experience the experience that you experienced in the same way or even a better fashion. I'm going to be, so today we are only going to look at the practical things. I'll be sharing a world champions video, 2003, Jim Key. The speech title was, "It's Never Too Late to Follow Your Dreams." It's never too late to follow your dreams. You will be seeing the video shortly so that we can correlate the concepts better. How that speaker has gone about in working each and every syllable, every word and every expression and every look at the audience members to make its speech connect. Every world champion has to do it, otherwise you cannot be there. Everyone passing the even districts level has to do it, otherwise you cannot be there. Now, point of disconnect is one. You need to connect, make them connect, keep them hooked on to you. Okay? And third one, we talked about it, make the audience members feel your speech. Don't let them think through your speech. What is Peri's strategy? He said he went to Chennai, then from there he went to Singapore, from Singapore he went to Hong Kong. Okay, now where are you? Do not strain or stress their mind. Keep it smooth, easy. And they should feel it. They should feel your speech. Emotionally connect with them, right? Modulate your voices. I'm not going to talk about it. Have the right body language. Be at the right place of the stage. So that it is all going to take a lot of work, a lot of research. And use the bad guys a lot. The bad guys which Toastmaster Arabic was talking about, mentors. Somebody was complaining about the mentors, right? Use those bad guys a lot. They will help you improve your speech. We don't like our teachers. Sometimes. Then from we start liking them. I'm just joking. Okay? So make the audience member audience members feel your speech, not think about your speech. And very importantly, as the audience members leave the hall, after you finish your speech, they should have answers for these 3 questions. What, how, and why. Help the audience members find an answer to these 3 questions. This is not out of any textbook, this is all based on our experiences. The way I prepared my speeches, or I help my mentees prepare their speeches by crushing them in their head. Sometimes how, what, so because what, let me say what is the, what should be the speech content that I should choose? It should be from, most probably from our personal life. Okay? And then I will have lot of themes I can focus on. But whether the theme that I am going to focus on is going to be interesting enough for the audience member. Think about it. Don't go for something which you like. I like it, I love it, but they should like it. That's the trick. Whether that is going to trigger inspirations and the impact of the audience members, that's one. And second one is how. How is, we are Toastmasters. How we deliver our speech. Whether we are connecting, whether we are expressing the words and syllables in the speech. If we are going to see Jim, let's see how he's going to express. And the last part is why. Sometimes some speakers are very entertaining, great to listen to. But when Toastmaster Zakaria leaves the hall, you will be thinking, what did he learn from his speech? Peri spoke something very nice. It was, we all laughed, we all entertained. But I don't know what he was trying to convey to you. You should give the speech value. You should have something to take from. So, what, how, and why. You need to definitely, after you design your speech, after you present your speech to yourself or your very close ones, try to find answers. Is it going to be interesting enough? Most of the speakers, as speakers, we tend to be biased to our content. Something we feel that is very important in my life, it should be very important in Toastmaster Omar's life. It will be boring for them. The love between me and my mom when I was a little child, it's very precious, very close to me. Probably it's something, okay, what's great about it? Every mom loves the child. Okay, so we tend to overdo it because we get over passionate with our own content. We should avoid that. Always think about the audience. The hero of the speech is not you, it's your audience. This is what is. When we talked about it, yes, a great speech will be a speech that will be very strongly lingering in an audience mind with its speech value for a very, very long time. Like this man, we all remember after so many decades. Now, I'm going to very quickly request you to watch this speech, Jim Key's speech. Title of the speech is Never Too Late. World Champions of Public Speaking, 2003. The reason why I chose this speech, every world champion is a great speaker. But I feel this speech has got a lot of fundamental elements very nicely deployed when it comes to a great speech. It is easily explainable, relatable for every audience member, hopefully. It was for me. So let's listen to this. The light should be on. Let's try the light. Let's keep it on. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay. This is okay.
The movie theater was quiet. The aroma of overpriced popcorn permeated the air. You settled in for the perfect family outing, and then it happened. The film that you were watching took a sudden emotional turn. You try to resist it, but you can't help it, and before you know it, your eyes begin to sweat. You may not care that people see you crying in public, but the last time this happened to me, I was thankful the theater was dark. Until my lovely young daughter, who doesn't know it's okay to whisper, pierced the darkness with, "Are you crying?" Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone who's ever gotten misty at the movies, Never ignore inquisitive children. The longer you do, the louder they get. In a matter of seconds, my daughter shouted, "Why are you crying, Daddy?" When this happened, the movie that my family and I were watching was The Rookie. On the surface, it's a movie about the oldest rookie in professional baseball, but on a much deeper level, it's about reclaiming life's missed opportunities. When the movie ended and I realized what a great teaching opportunity I had, I turned to my two sons and I said, "Guys, what did you learn from this?" Imagine how proud I was when my 16-year-old said, "I learned that my dad cries at the movies." My 12-year-old took the question and his well-being a bit more seriously. He said, "I learned that it's never too late to follow your dreams." It's never too late to follow your dreams. Why does it sometimes take a child to remind us of that? It's because children are uninhibited dreamers. In fact, last year I was speaking to an elementary school assembly, and I asked the question, if you could have any job in the world, what would it be? And one little guy said, to be the guy that rides on the back of the garbage truck. Who knew? His passion was proof that he knew something many adults have forgotten. Dreaming is fun. It's natural. And it's necessary. Every notable accomplishment in human history began as a dream. Do you remember how you dreamed as a child? Back when we had this wonderful sense of innocence, we could gaze into the future and imagine all sorts of possibilities. Then we turn our focus to adulthood. And many of us find that by the time we actually get here, we hit a wall. And we stop dreaming because we can't see past next week. Why? What happened? Somewhere along the way, we learned a painful truth. We learned that failing to achieve our dreams hurts. We encounter critics who ridicule and crush our dreams, and it hurts. And we hear an inner voice that says, "Please, no more. I can't take being hurt again." We convince ourselves that it's better to just give up those things and do what we're supposed to do instead of longing for what we were meant to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we were meant to dream. We were meant to dream. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of the greatest dreamers of our age, said, "The time is always right to do what is right." And that means that if it was right for us to dream as children, then it's just as right for us to dream as adults. The question is, do we have the courage to dream? I am privileged to know a remarkable teenage girl who does. Her name is Nicole. And you should know that Nicole is hearing impaired, she is vision impaired, and 3 years ago she survived a stroke. That's not fair. If anyone has the right to give up on dreams and just accept reality, she does. But instead, I've watched Nicole redefine reality, not according to her physical limitations, but according to the size of her dream. As part of that, 2 years ago, I watched her stand on a huge stage in front of almost 3,000 people and perform the sweetest song I've never heard. She sang it through sign language, and I didn't just see it. Deep inside, I felt it. Instead of hiding behind justifiable excuses, there she stood, teaching me it's never too late to follow your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you dream? Or is the better question, what did you dream and why did you stop? If you've ever let a dream slip away, I'm here to tell you, it's not too late. If you can summon the courage to overcome your circumstances and your experiences and your critics, your dream can live. Whether you dream of making beautiful music or not getting caught crying at the movies. If you dream of changing the world or riding on the back of a garbage truck. If you forget every word I've said today, it would thrill me if you remember this.
Amazing, isn't it? How was the speech? It was a world champion speech. It has to be outstanding, out of this world. Now, what did we like about the speech? There are so many things, but I want to just quickly collect some of your thoughts before we get into the second half. Sorry? Well, I hope the audio was clear.
Yes.
Started with a personal story.
Very good. The very lively, personal. He took us inside the movie theater. Very nicely. Anything else?
Voice modulation and facial expression.
Was outstanding. Facial expression was superb. I think one thing that he does consistently, Suresh knows it very well, and Rajit knows it as well. I think he was living every word. He was living every syllable, every word. He was connecting with the audience members with his face. He did so many wonderful things, amazing things, but he was connecting so strongly. The expressions were just so very well synchronized, and it was all natural. Anything else?
Sign language.
Well, sign language. That is, the sign language is he used it very effectively to present a very effective conclusion. And what did he do? He didn't just go. He didn't bring it only in the conclusion. He let the audience members know what it means somewhere in the middle of the speech, and then brings it back at the conclusion. So all these things have to be done within 450 seconds or 430 seconds. And it's also a strategy, the speech strategy. You need to have a clear strategy. I think it's a well thought out, well laid out strategy. Lively moments, humorous moments, high emotions. Okay, when he brings the characters, his children. Okay, the movie Rookie. Okay, it's a wonderful movie. All Toastmasters should watch this movie. Very, very good movie. The name of the movie is Rookie. It's a baseball player's movie. And Nicole, the character. The guy on the back of the garbage truck. Everything, all the characters are brought in purposefully to improve the liveliness of the speech and the way he intends to connect with you within the 420 seconds. I mean, he says he entered the movie theater with the woman. Expressions, the smell, the movie theater was quiet. I'm not joking. Okay, I'm Peri. So I cannot express the way he says the smell of the overpriced popcorn permeated the air. He takes you inside. He's getting into the emotions. And of course, he little bit makes the movie started immediately. There's an emotional scene, and he brings this joke to convey the message that it's never too late to accomplish your dreams. He's exaggerating, but you have to do that to convey the message very well. You cannot wait till the climax scene of the movie to give the emotion. Right? So, but yes.
One thing I liked about this speech is that he was just suggesting to the audience to dream.
Yeah.
He's not talking about dreaming big. He's asking
Whatever you want to dream, whether you want
he's
to be
talking about dreaming small things.
correct. Even whether you want to be whether you want to compose a great music or you want to become the guy in the garbage truck. As children, we are all uninhibited dreamers, but as we grow up, we do not think past next week. And did you see the body language? The way he moves and then suddenly stops, as if he literally hit the wall. I'm sure he did practice this so many times. Jimki has even shared the speech map, which probably I will circulate to the club. every minutest movement in the speech is practiced, rehearsed, researched, which obviously everyone does. But this is an example of how you present a very impactful speech. It is not just a, we will talk about, we will go back to this as we get into some concept. It's not just a 5 to 7 minute speech, it is a performance. And it takes lots and lots of research, lots and lots of hard work, working with the bad guys. Okay, get feedback, rework on all your speeches. Now, there's a reason why I brought, you all recognize him, Mark Ashraf. Master Mark Ashraf, who was the district second place winner last time. He happened to be, unfortunately, my mentee as well. Still, he made it. But the reason I'm presenting it here is, it was a simple speech. It went in, and he was in the district second place. First and second, can be quite close. It was a very simple, he brought a very simple speech. These are the practical things I wanted to share. He brought a very simple content. Okay, he's talking about the beautiful camaraderie between him and his childhood friend, so when they're living in an apartment. Okay, and they play around. There's a lot of funny things that are happening. And one day, suddenly, his friend passed away. I mean, there is a chronic illness he's suffering from, and he dies. And his life passed on the stage. Mark Ashraf. And he's completely sad. And then he imagines that the friend who passed away comes and talks to him. And through that sad experience, he brings out the speech value and delivers to the audience. The title of the speech was Subtitles. If some of you remember, Subtitles. Now, he brought this, it's a wonderful story. Mark Ashraf is a great speaker. I mean, he's a born speaker. He's very mature for his age, very young. But very adaptive. He's like a clay. You do what however you want to mold him, you quickly mold. I'm sure he worked with so many other mentors. He worked with Suresh also for some time. Excellent, naturally talented person, but the content was very simple content, and we wanted to make it very impactful. In one of the scenes of his original speech, there was this scene where he watches a different language movie with subtitles. He brought 3 days for Joe to generate humor out of it, and his friend argues, okay, we should watch the movie without subtitles. The guy who died. So, and then his friend passed, all these things happened, blah, blah. But to make that key message more impactful, we brought it again and again. So we converted the speech as subtitle. And we kept repeating that main message 3 or 4 times along the speech. And he concludes the speech with subtitles. Now sometimes in life, we come across beautiful subtitles. We come like angels in our life. But after some time, they may disappear, or we may disappear. But we need to learn to go on with our life without those subtitles. And this is so many things, so many places it repeats. The reason I'm sharing with you is, it can register in audience member's mind very strongly. When he came at the district level, and he came on that big stage, and he said, he left blank, and audience repeated subtitles. So there his speech cleared. That was huge. So how it happened? Lot of work, lot of replays, lot of research, lot of reviews, adjustments. That needs to be done at every stage. Only then, for a speech to go past division stage and reach district finals, it has to be a teamwork, a solid teamwork, a lot of research, a lot of rework. We need to have the passion and energy to do it. I remember we had 4 or 5 mentors giving him feedbacks, and he was correcting. It's such a pain to just go and correct even one mentor's feedback. Right? So this is very important. You need to stay passionate, research-oriented on your speech, live your speech. So very quickly, I'm going to share with you some useful tools to develop a great speech. I'm not going to talk about how you construct a speech, but how you should see your speech. Have these perspectives. I call them as 3 C's perspective. Content, very simple. Content, context, which is the content of the speech. We'll see what it is. The context of the speech, where the speech happens, and the connection. How the connection takes place with all these members. The content of Jim Key's speech was, he brings his whole family, then he brings some characters, which are all characters we can relate, about the necessity to keep dreaming and never give up on dreaming. And then he brings in another interesting character who connects with a very strong landing code. Then he adds credibility by quoting Martin Luther King into the speech, and then he effectively concludes. That is the content part. What is the context part? Before that, we look at it. What is the content? Content is the storyline, the central message, the theme, the speech craft, the characters, how the speech flows. The entire speech craft and the characters and the theme and the plot and the twist in the plot, all these things are content. Look at your speech, whether this content is very nicely designed from a speaker's perspective and from the audience's perspective. Context, where the speech happens. Context. Sometimes if you have a heavy content, you need to have a lively context. Once I delivered a speech about helping a janitor. And it's not easy to take all the audience members inside a toilet. They may not enjoy that experience. So what I did was, I put that speech inside Dubai Mall. And in the introduction part, I was going inside with my wife, and I took the audience inside the Dubai Mall with all colorfulness, some funny jokes and other things. Then just after the set body, I introduced the janitor. So sometimes you need to design the context very nicely, keeping the audience members in mind. Like Jim Key, the audience, how was the context? Very colorful context. Did you feel it was very colorful? Movie hall, then he meets. That's very important. It's a grand context that he had. Connection. Connection is how you do it, speech delivery, everything that we talked about. The expressions on your face, the movements, the little pauses that you make in the speech. Everything is very important. Even if you see the opening stage, Jim Key talks about his children, and there's a little humor. He waits for the audience to laugh. But those things all, let him connect very friendly, in a very friendly fashion with the audience members. So content, any speech, you need to look at these three C's. How is the content? How is the context? How is the connection? Should I need to improve? And all the three, the content, context, and connection, all the three to be well balanced in the speech for you to deliver a very good speech. If you don't understand context or content, please stop here. How should the content be designed for a speech? Like for a great speech, to let the audience member experience your experience. Not experience something else and be lost in the virtual world, which some of you are looking now like. Okay? Keep the content simple. Don't make it very messy, very complicated. Even if it may be real, it may be true. Everything that you write may be truthful things, but keep it simple for the sake of audience members. Because they need to quickly connect with you. You cannot afford to waste even 1 or 2 seconds in your speech. And keep it obviously interesting, different, and keep them, as I told you, they should feel the speech, which means they should easily think through the speech with you. Very important. Keep them feeling happy and make them emote rightly with you. When you say emote rightly, it is easy. It's much easier said than done. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable, we may feel a little nervous, we may feel, especially in the front of audience members who are away from outside our clubs, in the division or district state, there will be a lot of unrelated audience members, where they perceive things a little differently than we perceive. How do you keep every one of them in your mind and you need to design the speech? I remember Richard was a humorous speech winner at the club area and even at the division level. And I will take the permission of the senior members of this club. But at the district level, if you know, I think Ajit was the highest speaker at the time, Riyadh. He did not connect very well. Okay? As well it did as it did in the division. Because the audience were different. And we were talking mostly about petrochemical, environment, safety, and so many things. That did not connect. So I'm just giving that as an example. But she was a great speaker. Went on with that stage. So keep the audience members in your mind, and what will keep them happy, what will make them emote rightly and bring that emotions. Sometimes not all audience like very intense emotions. They need light emotions, intense emotions. Because listeners is very important. We have different kinds of listeners. This I learned it from Mark Brown. Keep different listeners in your mind. Past world champion. There are different kinds of listeners in the audience members, and most of them you can categorize into 4 different categories. This is very important. Number 1 is the empathetic listeners. Like your club members, your very good friends. They want you to somehow succeed. And there are some people, not necessarily your club members, there could be some others. They have such a kind heart. Everyone who goes on this stage, it's a horrible thing to do. I want this person or this lady to succeed. So they want you to. But the problem is, they will appreciate every speaker. If you are in a contest, it's not very good. And the other one is the appreciative, I will call them as a mom. Okay? The other one is the appreciative listeners. The appreciative listener, what is their goal as an audience member? They want to see what is interesting in it. They want to enjoy your speech. They have nothing. They don't even want to become a speaker, but they want to enjoy your speech. Okay? Like your daughter. The problem is, if your speech is not going to be enjoyable, they will switch channel. They will go to the virtual world. So you have to keep them in your mind. Keep these people, keep this kind of audience in mind. And the third and fourth are the dangerous categories. The comprehensive listeners. There are a lot of potential comprehensive listeners sitting here who are preparing for the IS contest. They are looking for what is the detail, what is the content, what is the technicality in his speech. Is it really good or is he making it up? Okay? Be very careful about that. But your speech has to be organized, it should make sense, there should be a nice introduction, body, conclusion. Introduction should not be too much, conclusion should not be abrupt or unimpressive. How was the conclusion of Jim Key? Fantastic, right? Very different. The conclusion in a Toastmaster speech contest, the conclusion without a speech. Terrific. See, how much he must have thought about it. So, these are dangerous guys as well. But the most dangerous people are these. They evaluate. I'm calling them the last minute friend. They will come to you in the exam hall. What do you have? You have the answer for this question. You remember that? Toastmaster, you wrote some exams. They want some information from you. You will have a lot of comprehensive listeners sitting in a not very interesting contest like Toastmasters. It's not music or fun. Okay? So keep them in your mind. And finally, the evaluative listeners. They are the safety inspectors. They are there to auditors. You see, they will be judges, some judges. They will be always judging whether what he's saying is right or not. Whether you should also be careful about that. Keep all of them in your mind. So your speech is not just for you. Of course, you need to be playing to your areas of strength, but it should be appealing to every one of them. It should be a mix. Okay. So Jim Key's speech, he could have just kept it on just with one theme, one methodology of it. He could have just been inside the theatre and delivered the speech. But he went inside the theatre, he kept us, he made us laugh, happily connect with him. Then he brought us out, took us into a school, first that boy. Then he brings in that little profound character called Nico, which is a little sad character. Then he talks about some published work, then he narrates, and then he concludes. He makes you travel through different places to satisfy different audience members. Every one of us would have enjoyed one portion much more than somebody else enjoyed the other portion. That is a trick. Please watch every World Champion speaker's speech, good speeches, they are always decided with this. Okay? Keep all audience members in mind. Content design, other key elements, of course I will not talk about it. We all know what is introduction, body, conclusion. Make sure 5% is introduction, body, make a point, tell a story, body, and a conclusion. Personal story, personal experience is more connected. Conclusion has to be very effective. Have the magic, for impactful winning speeches, you need to have the magical moments in your speech. There should be 2 or 3 at least a couple of magical moments in your speech. Again, the audience members, they will forget your speech after a while, but they always remember the magical moment. Will we ever forget Nicole in Jim Key's speech? Nicole is the person, the hearing impaired, vision impaired person with the stroke. That is a magical moment. What was the magical moment for you in Jim Key's speech? Anything else?
Standing on the chair.
Sorry?
Standing on the chair.
Standing on the chair. And even, for me, even the movie hall was nice.
It's not a
Child, why are you crying? Okay, the way he is delivering it, but he is uninhibited speaker. Whatever. And the way he goes and stops. We cannot think past the next week as grown-up adults. As a child, You are unable to. So, okay. So you need to have 3-4 magical words. Toastmaster Mark is there. The impact scene. What is the impact scene is so very important, from which you bring out the speech value. Okay, where the beat is child, his interaction with his children, little jovial bit, or what Nicole says, about the dream. You have to be, it's never too late. Even he talks of the movie Rookie, where he says it's never too late to bring out everything that you're aspiring for. Like today, Toastmaster Suresh, DTM Modi, he was giving the same message in his style. He was giving it a different style. So, but the impact scene is the scene in which you bring out the speech value very impactfully on the audience members so that they will remember it. That is the scene to the speech value. I hope you can design that in your speeches. And a very effective conclusion is extremely important in international speech at that level. Very effective conclusion. And sometimes we put in a lot of information. Too much. I went there, I went here, I did this. Do not overload the speech with information. Be merciless on the slave. Have mercy on the audience. And the energy levels, I need to spend some time on this. One of the tricks which all established speakers do is vary the energy level of your speech. It's very important. Morgan MacArthur gave me this feedback in 2012, Jeddah, where I lost badly. He said, Peri, your speech was, he was a former world champion. He came, many of us remember Morgan MacArthur. He brought the horse on the stage in one of his speeches. Fantastic speaker. He said, Peri, your speech was very good. I liked it. I know you are sitting with a sad face that you didn't. It was 2012, Jeddah. I said, most of the times, one of the reasons, I'm not saying you didn't deserve to be in the top 3. But one of the reasons, if I have to tell you, for scope for improvement is, you were always keeping it on a continuous high energy level, the speech. You were on a high pitch or high paced. But audience members, you need to let them relax. There should be one energy level, then let them drop. Nice moments, then intense moments, then nice moments. I mean, you need to mix it up for the audience. That's very important. I think we all should keep it in the way. Context design. We talked about the context. Very important to have the right context for your speech, the right setting, the right environment. It is like the smell of the coffee. Many of us, more than the coffee, we like the smell of the coffee. Would you like to taste a coffee which smells like tea? No. It is applicable to the speech also. The content needs to be taken to the right context. Only then it will connect very strongly, like Jim King did. It can be very grand, and it can be very different, very colorful, or keep it very simple. Some speakers keep the context very, very simple. I don't know how many of you have watched Persian Vasilov's speech, again, world champion, the tire that changed.
Yeah.
So, very nice speech. Even Gatani's speech. Okay, the context was very simple. Something that happens within the 4 hours. Persian Vasilov, very, very lively, humorous speech. You should watch it. The tire that changed it. Nothing. Just he stops in a petrol station and the whole speech is over. He just uses his jacket as a prop. Jim Key uses the chair and so many things as a prop. Very nice. Keep it appropriate to the country. But it should be making the audience members feel that they are inside a movie hall or watching something, they are reading a story. Context is very important. Don't keep it dry. Don't keep it uninteresting. Because it's like you are taking them on a journey to a beautiful destination. So if for example, if you all have the chance to visit, let's say, New York, okay, and you are given a choice to go and travel in Saudi Airlines, no choice, or the Gulf Air, Emirates, all of them same price, what will be your choice?
Emirates.
You will choose Emirates. Because travel is the experience to the destination. It's not just the destination which is important. The travel and the experience is equally important. So is context. Do not undermine the importance of the context. I have a great content, I have characters. The audience have to listen. The judges have to give me, it's not, do not have. You have to make it work. Okay? Props, if required, please use props that will provide a pronounced impact in the speech. Jim Key used the chair. I sometimes feel Jim Key uses the colorful tie also to create that impact. So If prop is necessary, use it. Many speakers are not very comfortable with props. I am not very comfortable. I create problems there, so I go for props. Okay, it's up to you. And finally, the connection part, the third C, very important. Okay, the most challenging part is this. It is how you do what you intend to do, and how you want to connect with the audience members. And you might think something and you may do something else, and the audience may have a different effect. If connection is bad, again, 2,500 to 3,500 thoughts. But you'll always remember this. I know some of you are already crossing 5,000. Some of you are working with smartphones, maybe 10,000. But this connection part, every minute nitty-gritty, the way you look at the audience again, the friendliness on your face is very important. Finally, you are there not to go and tell them, listen to what I say. You are a salesman. As a speaker, you are a salesman. You have to impress the audience members. You have to make them feel comfortable, interesting. That is all going to come only with the connection. There are some, I'm going to quickly share one slide which will talk about what you should not do. Connection is, I think, it's a huge differentiator. How we say it makes all the difference. And very importantly, how can you improve connection? Take your speech off your head, put it inside your heart. How is it possible? William Suresh so effortlessly does it? Because you live the speech. You need to live the speech. It should look like you're speaking like an impromptu speech. It's just coming out of your heart. Jim Key, did any one of us feel he was speaking from the head? He was trying to recollect the call, what decisions. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you should let the audience feel. That's very important. For which you need to live your speech. Internalize, not memorize. Same thing. The facial expression, the friendliness, right emotions. The most intricate part of this mastery called speech performance. And sometimes it's always, even when we start at the club level, I hope everyone does it. Please record your speech, even at the first level, second, and review. Review yourself first. And let people at home to sit and review with you. Then get it to your mentors, present it to your mentors. And one mentor, a group of mentors, if you are going to take it beyond area level or division level. For you to reach that level, I told you, it is a teamwork. I'm saying it very strongly in DTM moment in Arabian, because this is a club which deserves to send a speaker beyond the street level. And it is not happening. I generally enjoy it. I'm talking about in IS, I'm talking about beyond the street level. Yes, I'm sure Suresh would agree. This place, we have so much of expertise in Jubail, in Toastmasters. But so far nobody has crossed district level in IS. Whatever be the reason, okay, make your speech so good, so impressively good that they cannot ignore recognizing the speech. This happens at all the places, all districts. But you make it so good. And if you work on it, if you live on it, how many of you want to go to the international speech? I think many of you are scared. Start living your speech from today, or maybe yesterday. Work on your speech. You have wonderful mentors in this club. It is possible. Be connection focused, not content focused. I think it is conversational and storytelling. This is very important as IS presenters. We have to mix it up. We cannot go on telling stories without connecting with audience members. What connects with the audience members is the conversation that we have with them. I purposefully did certain things to connect with you. I even pulled some of your legs because that's the only way to connect. So when you connect, when you are on a conversation style, you need to be in this section of the stage. These are basics I don't want to do. You have to be here. When you are conversing with the audience. When you are on a storytelling mode, with Suresh and Ajit are so good, little bit you are here. Long ago. Who says this? He's always here. And his arms are lifted, his body language. This is the storytelling part of the stage. And don't go too back. It's a scary portion. It gives an impression to the audience members that you are a little nervous. Here and here. Roughly about 20-30% you should be here again. The rest, Jimki. If you see, most of the times he's here, and when he wants to finally connect with you, is towards the edge of the stage. Use it effectively. Look at the audience members. Who will. Let's say if Santosh is not interested, I start focusing on Santosh. Okay, if Toastmaster Mark is looking at his smartphone, I start looking at him. So like that. You need to do all these things. Okay. facial expression, we talked about intonation and inflection, a little technical one. It's very important, again, when we have a multinational, multi-ethnic audience members, the way you intonate what you want to say, the way you inflect your words, it's very important. Very quickly, let me tell you, for example, let me put a lady Toastmaster. Okay, let's talk about, no, I don't want to put a name. She got an increment. She got an increment. It's a flat intonation. She got an increment. It's a falling intonation. She got an increment. She got an increment. It's a rising intonation. But it means differently. The same sentence would mean differently, especially if you have people of different nationalities. Indians, sometimes we use an answer to ask a question. Right? You did that, huh? For example, it is not correct. If I go and talk to a Saudi, you did that, huh? Sorry? What is that? So use the right intonation. You don't have to, we are not native English speakers. And we don't have to speak like native English speakers. But all that we speak should be comprehensible. Rightly comprehensible, not wrongly comprehensible. What is Peri saying? Inflection. Which word? She got an increment. She got an increment. It's nice. This meaning is right. She got an increment. Right? She got an increment. I'm inflecting on increment. So but you need to work with your mentors. You need to look at your speech yourself. You'll be able to do this. But these are all very important in intonation and inflection. Remember this. In IS contest. Aaron Beverly, he is evaluating his own previous speech in his YouTube, where he's talking about how his grammar failed him in the previous contest. Small grammatical errors. But at that level. Here, I don't know. Okay. Suresh understands this. Diction and cadence. Okay? Again, diction is the way we pronounce the words. Again, we don't have to be like native English speakers. Anything that we pronounce should be understandable. Should connect with the audience. Clear. And cadence. What is cadence? The music. All of us have a music in the way we speak. It depends on where we come from. Like Jackie Chan's cadence will be very different from, let's say, James Bond actors. But it should be understandable. You can have cadence, but it should not be too ugly or too difficult to understand. Focus on the core message. It is very important. The speech value part. Jim Key keeps repeating, it's never too late, 4 or 5 times in his speech. It's very important. You need to keep bringing out that again and again, because audience will forget otherwise. Trust, feel confident, coaching is so essential. If any one of you again want to go move your progress to higher levels, you have to work with your mentors, get expert feedbacks. And very quickly, what are the things we should not do? I ran through this quickly last slide. Sometimes we are so obsessed with our content and we forget about the connections. No need, especially even when you are in a club level contest. Sometimes I've seen speakers getting away from the stage, leaving the stage because they forgot the content. Or sometimes they pause and think. Nobody knows your speech. I mean, this is all done at even the basic levels, you know that. Domination. Sometimes the way we deliver our speech, we try to dominate. We try to dominate the audience members. Audience members are not here to get punched from you. They are your partners. You need them. Meandering is going around, straight away. Obscure references, statistics, don't bring them to your speech. These are all base things. In 450 seconds, every word needs to be measured. Sometimes we work on our phrases to make them words. So important. And those pauses, we think the way we speak, quickly we deliver the words, they are correct. Pauses are so important. So keep your words very efficient, keep your references, keep your statistics very easily relatable and quickly understand. Quantification. This is again some other form of dangerous domination. Some speakers, they will come and say, let's say they talk about terrorism. Yes, people are bombing this world. Bombing is happening in India, bombing is happening in Pakistan, bombing is happening in the Philippines, everywhere. And then the way they look at the audience members, they start feeling a little bit guilty. They are your friends. They are the most important people. Do not quantify your speech. Don't make it too serious. This is the speech has to be lively. Take them inside a movie hall, where the smell of the overpriced popcorn permeated the air. We could smell the popcorn. Take it. And body language, I am not going to talk, what it is. And don't stay abstract, make it easy. Okay. And finally, it's you. Every one of us have so much to give, even on this stage. That we need to bring out the very best versions of ourselves. No plagiarism. We should not try to be influenced by somebody's style, Jim Key's style or something. One of the violent programs, one youth leader came and presented the same speech of Jim Key. That's his IS project. Okay. We have so many things to get inspired from. This is very simple. And finally, a quick exercise on how we, little bit, I know it's not fully relatable within this time. I want to test you. How much score, on a scale of 100, how much would you give for Jim Key's speech in terms of its content? There's no right answer. I am the boss here. No problem.
60.
60.
50.
Content?
30.
World champion?
30.
I mean, everything on a scale of 100. Let me clarify. I don't want the summation of this to be 100. Between 0 to 100 for content, like that. Let me clarify. It's my mistake. It's not the addition of, it's not the summation of this as 100. For content, how much you would give? On a scale of 10 or on a scale of 100? You are getting an opportunity to score somebody. Please score. World champion.
70.
70 is a tough
60.
must. Out of 100, world champion of public speaking.
80.
Even though little out in 2003.
His connection was very good, but
Yeah, 30 to 40 is good.
Content?
30 to 40.
He is very tough. On a scale of 100, you are failing him. Disqualifying him.
60. 60.
It's the way he delivered that.
No, I think it's around 80-85.
I saw an analysis, sorry, I am jumping this is a reflection. I saw an analysis, it was 90 plus. Most of the people reaching that level, if you take all the finalists of World Champion, they will be in plus or minus 1 or 2 in that range. Otherwise, they cannot reach that level. Context, but but the point is different, which is going to be helpful for all of us. Context, I mean, he brought us inside the movie theater, the plays. Did you enjoy the context, or did you feel stressed, relaxed, or it was okay, it was nice? Or could I have been better? I think it was very nice in your opinion. How much do you think you would give for the context? 30 plus. 90 plus. Connection.
100.
See, this is, by the way, this 90 could be 85, like Suresh said, it could be 80. For some, I think it will be 85 plus. Otherwise, it's not world champion speech. It should be around the 90. The context could be 85 to 90 or around the 90. Connection is certainly in the uppermost quadrant. And this is uniform. If you do the analysis, 3C analysis for any big champion speech, connection scores the highest weightage. The difference between those guys or those wonderful ladies is only on the connection part. Because every one of them works with a lot of mentors and they really honor the speech to all the level. They work on the content, context, they correct it. Connection makes all the difference. If you want to be an impactful speaker, work on your connection. Wonderful. Any more? Can we have a quick Q&A discussion? Any questions? Yes?
is it always there to have emotion with your speech?
See, okay, please be seated. Please be seated. I think emotion is a general word. I think what type of emotion, whether it's there is a point emotion, whether it's a sad or happy, but it's very important to have an intense emotion. It need not be some very, very sad moment, but it needs to be intense. Because psychologically, I think we must have heard from many evaluators, it is only when we emote and excite the audience members, the speech value gets in. They are in an elevated stage, just put them, deliver the speech value. Simply coming and it's never too late to follow your dreams. If you come, nobody will listen. He brings in recall, brings in all those funny characters, elevates you, emotes you rightly, and then delivers. It's a trick. Yes, DTM.
I just want to qualify it here. I believe that the emotion is the fast track to the mind or the brain. So we need to use emotion, especially in the next speech.
Definitely. Well, yes, thanks for adding that. Yes, in international speech you need. You go and research 50 speeches and take the speech values. All of the speech values will be something very intense, something which is very very important values for life, and you cannot deliver them comically. You need to make this serious. It's a serious business. So emotion is important. Yes, it was more.
Do we need to end the speech with a call for action? Or in other way, emote the audience?
The call for action, please be seated. Again, this is my opinion. Okay, call for action, I think there is already a call for action in Jeffrey's speech. It's never too late. He says that even if you forget the whole speech, I would remember Nicole's. Okay, that is, but he doesn't have to come and say, can we, audience members? Can we do it?
Not necessary.
Not necessary.
Yeah.
I think in fact it's too cliche, it's too rash. In my opinion, it doesn't impress me. I'm sure many people have done it again and again. But every speech has a call for action. The audience members are spending that valuable 7 minutes to listen. As I said, the answer for why. They have to take home that value. And they need to act. It's up to them whether they will act. That is why we are delivering the speech. There has to be a strong speech value. That's my answer. No need to go and ask them. Yes, madam.
I have 2 questions.
In spite of the busy time that you had. Wonderful. I'm just making it like.
Okay. So one question is, will there be any
Please be
added?
seated. Please be seated.
No, no, no. Will there be any added advantage if the contestant is using a prop?
Okay. It's a very often asked question. Again, depends on the relevance of the prop to the speech. Okay? Especially at that level. Okay? Again, I know if I am the judge, I would not give the weightage for the prop if it is not relevant to the speech. Using the prop for the sake of using is not right. Okay. If it is, like Jimki used that chair, it was very relevant. He wanted to make Nicole seen in a very pronounced way. Wanted to promote her, wanted to introduce her story. It was useful. Mark Ashraf last time in his speech, he used a small prop of, he had a small bench. He went and sat and he was in deep state of sadness. He wanted to, so he used that. But do not take prop on the stage for the sake of, okay, if I take this, I get a point. No.
Can I say something
Yes.
cue to what you said? Is that I have observed that sometimes we tend to keep a prop thinking that it will add value to
It
the
can create
speech.
trouble also.
And sometimes what happens is that the audience attention goes to that prop quite often and thinking like what's going to be that chair going to do there or what that bench is going to be there. So the attention gets diverted.
Yeah. Yes, I fully agree with you, Ajit. Attention gets diverted unnecessarily if the prop is not going to be used in a masterful way, cleverly, tactfully. Okay. But sometimes if the context calls for you to use a prop, you have to use a prop. This is it.
I just want to add to what Ajit said. Sometimes the prop is not used effectively.
Yeah.
The prop could completely bomb.
Yes.
And if you have something which is standing on the stage and competing with you to seek the attention of the audience, I would rather not have it there. Yeah. Second thing is, I used the prop at one time when it was a helmet. That I used. And it went well in the club level, it went at the area level, but in the division level, I had given the prop to one of my sergeants at arms. You know what this helmet? What the person did was he put the helmet in the plastic cover and pushed the plastic cover over the helmet and took it out and put it back. When I was going to use the helmet to put it on, the back thing was gone inside and I had to struggle with it.
So it created a fun. You had to fumble.
And that was one of the reasons why I was not get anyway. Sometimes and also it's also a cultural thing in my opinion. If we try to stand up on a chair like that, it will bomb.
Again.
It will bomb. Jim Q was successful, but we cannot do that. There's something called cultural. It's a cultural barrier as well.
But again, you need to master the practice of your prop, if that is to answer from a holistic perspective. Yes, I don't prefer prop. I'm very uncomfortable with prop on stage. Once I took my iPhone to deliver a child's voice, I was fumbling, like what Suresh said over there. Because it was my fault. I should have practiced enough to take it. Some guys, but again, only if it is relevant, and don't use it as a competitive advantage for your speech. It's only going to be, it will not work. It will be a, you understand the word? You don't use it as an advantage, to gain an advantage over somebody. But if it is going to improve the relevance of your speech in reaching the audience, use it. Provided you are going to be very good at it. One more question.
Yeah, one more question. Regarding the Jimky's speech, it was more into a motivational touch from the very beginning. And I have also seen many other world champion speeches in YouTube. Taking an example for Ramona, last year's world champion, her speech was throughout, she sprinkled humor.
Yeah, she was very lively, more jovial. She had 3 different contexts.
So while judging her or while we look into an international speech, what the judges are looking for, like how we carry the emotions or how we connect with the audience. She carried it with humor, and Jimky's was more into kind of emotions, not that humorous. So I just would like to know, like, from a judge's perspective.
If you, I would recommend you to look at the judging sheet. There's a score, there's a weightage for speech development, speech value, originality of your speech, the way you connect with the audience members, and even the technical part of body language, I think all these things matter. Okay, but please. But I think the Ramona Smith's performance on that particular day depends on how others were relatively performing with her. Definitely on that given day, on that given time, probably she was the best speaker. And I liked her speech. It was a different style. But she had a speech value. She did not go into, let's say, inducing very strong emotions. But she was on the light category, but connection was very strong. She kept the connection. She brought in some very good. I'm in Toastmasters conference. I'm looking for a boyfriend. I think so many things she used. I can't remember exactly. But I think that was the speech value was definitely there. That level, very strong speech value was there. The delivery was excellent, very lively. And I didn't see the other competitors. But if you have to rank different world champion speech, that's a different subject. I think time is also a very important resource. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to me. And I think thanks for listening. In case any one of you have any question, you can always write to me or message me or you can talk to my friend. Okay? We'll be too glad to support any one of you. The goal is to have
World champion.
at least district champion from Jubail, from Arabian Toastmasters, or any of the lots.
Thank you, DTM Peri. I just want to compliment the words of DTM Peri.